The moment my son-in-law grabbed the remote, turned off the TV, and told me to go sit in my room like a good old woman, something inside me finally snapped. The screen went black with a soft click, but the silence that followed felt louder than any argument. I had been sitting in my usual chair by the living room window, the one with the worn armrest where my hand always rested. Every evening at 6 I watched the news, not because I cared that much about politics, but because that half hour had quietly become the only time of day that still belonged to me. My name is Diane Harper. I'm 69 years old, and the house I was sitting in that evening, my house in Asheville, North Carolina, was supposed to be the place where I could grow old in peace. But when Tyler stepped in front of the television that night, it didn't feel that way anymore. He didn't even look at me at first. He just walked in, pressed the power button on the remote, and stood there staring at the blank screen like the room already belonged to him. Then he said it. "Diane, go to your room. I want the living room." He didn't shout. The way he said it was casual, like I was something that could simply be moved out of the way. For a moment, I honestly thought I had misheard him. When you've lived as long as I have, you learn that sometimes cruelty hides behind misunderstanding. So I looked past him toward the kitchen. My daughter Melissa stood in the doorway holding 2 grocery bags. The plastic handles dug into her fingers, but she didn't move. Our eyes met. I waited. I didn't need a speech, just one sentence. Something like, "Mom, this is your house." Or even, "Tyler, don't talk to her like that." Anything. But Melissa lowered her gaze and set the bags on the counter like the floor suddenly needed her attention. That was the moment everything inside me went very still. Tyler dropped onto the couch, the same couch I had bought years earlier, and started scrolling through his phone like I had already disappeared. In his world, I wasn't a person anymore. I was just part of the house, old furniture that came with it. I stood up slowly. My knees protested the way they always do, but I ignored them. I walked down the hallway to the front door, reached into the ceramic bowl by the entry table, and picked up my keys. Behind me, Tyler chuckled. "Don't forget your glasses," he said. Melissa didn't follow me. At the door, I paused for a moment. The framed photo of the Blue Ridge Mountains hung slightly crooked on the wall. The rug I vacuumed every Saturday was flattened where Tyler kicked off his boots. And suddenly, I understood something I had been ignoring for years. I had been shrinking inside my own house. For 4 years, I had been speaking softer, moving quieter, making myself smaller so Tyler could take up more space. And the more space he took, the less of me was left. So I stepped outside, not angrily, not dramatically, just quietly. Like placing a period at the end of a sentence. The cool Asheville air smelled like damp pavement and blooming dogwoods. I locked the gate behind me and walked until I found a taxi idling near the corner. The driver looked at me in the mirror. "Where to?" "Downtown," I said. "Any hotel will do." As the car pulled away, my hands trembled slightly in my lap, not from fear, but because my mind had started working again. And Tyler had absolutely no idea how big a mistake he'd just made. That night I checked into a small hotel near downtown Asheville. The room was quiet in a way my house hadn't been for years. No doors slamming, no television blasting, just the hum of the air conditioner and the faint glow of streetlights through the curtains. I sat at the desk and opened an old leather folder I hadn't touched in years. Before I retired, I spent 32 years working at the Buncombe County Land Records Office. My job dealt with deeds, titles, and property filings, every document that proved who actually owned what. During those years, I watched families destroy each other over houses, brothers suing brothers, children fighting parents, relatives turning into strangers the moment property was involved. And over time, I learned one simple truth: feelings fade, paper doesn't. I spread the documents across the desk: deeds, ownership records, property filings. Right at the top was my name, Diane Harper, sole owner, no co-owners, no transfers. The house had never stopped being mine, not when my husband died 8 years ago, not when Melissa and Tyler asked to stay for just a little while, and definitely not when that little while stretched into 4 long years. I picked up my phone and scrolled to a name I hadn't called in a long time: Martin Alvarez, a property attorney whose office used to sit across the street from mine. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Diane?" he said. "Everything okay?" "I'm better now," I told him. but I need your help in the morning." "What happened?" "My son-in-law ordered me out of my own living room tonight," I said. "They've been living in my house for 4 years without a lease." There was a pause. "Is the house still in your name?" he asked. "Sole owner." His tone changed immediately. "Then you're not asking permission," he said. "You're asking for procedure." "Exactly." "All right," he said. "They're occupants by consent, and consent can be withdrawn." Something inside me settled. "We'll serve a notice tomorrow," he said. "No confrontation, just paper." Before we hung up, he added quietly, "This could permanently damage your relationship with your daughter." I looked out at the quiet street below. "Things already changed tonight," I said. The next morning, a man in a gray suit walked up the steps of my house and knocked. Tyler answered. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. "Melissa." "Mom?" she said nervously. "There's a man here from a law office. Take the papers," I said calmly. "Read them." There was silence as she did. Then Tyler's voice exploded through the phone. "What the hell is this?" The phone shifted hands. "Diane," he snapped, "you trying to scare us with this legal garbage?" "It's not garbage," I said. "It's a notice. You can't kick us out. You've lived there because I allowed it." "Well, you can't just change your mind." "Actually," I said quietly, "I can." The shouting started then, but I didn't argue. Because after 32 years handling property records, I knew something Tyler didn't. Paper doesn't argue. Paper simply takes effect. That afternoon, Melissa texted me. "Mom, the internet just shut off." Tyler is furious. "Yes," I replied. "It's in my name." Another message came minutes later. "The grocery card isn't working either." For 4 years, Tyler believed the house and the finances were separate. They weren't. Every bill, every account, every card, mine. And that morning, I had simply stopped paying for everything that made his life comfortable. By noon, Tyler called again. "What did you do to the accounts?" he demanded. "I closed the cards." "You can't do that." "I already did. That card is for groceries." "For 4 years," I said evenly, "you lived rent-free in my home while I paid every bill. What you're feeling right now isn't cruelty. What is it?" "Reality." He laughed sharply. "You're trying to control us with money." "No," I said. I stopped confusing help with obligation. There was a long pause. Then he muttered something that caught my attention. "You wouldn't understand my investments anyway." "Investments?" I asked. Melissa's voice appeared faintly in the background. "Tyler, stay out of it," he snapped. But I already suspected the truth. The next day we met at my lawyer's office. Tyler looked exhausted. Melissa looked uneasy. "You can't just throw us out," Tyler said immediately. I slid the deed across the table. "I lived there," I said calmly. "I paid every bill. And I am the owner." Martin nodded. "The ownership is clear." Tyler turned to Melissa. "Tell them this is unfair." She looked at me quietly. "Tyler said we were saving money," she said. I placed several printed statements on the table. Loan notices, credit reports, investment summaries. Melissa read them, slowly. Then her face went pale. "It's negative," she whispered. "Debt," I said gently. "A lot of it." Tyler leaned back. "The market would have turned around." "So you needed my house to buy time," I said. He slammed his hand on the table. "I'm your son-in-law. Family helps family." "Family," I replied calmly, "does not order its elders out of the living room." The room fell silent. I stood. 30 days, I said. No extensions. 2 weeks later, Tyler lost his job after his employer discovered the financial mess behind his investments. Melissa called me that evening. "I didn't get in the car with him," she said quietly. "Where are you?" "Outside my office." There was a long pause. "If I leave him, will you still be my mother?" My chest tightened. "I will always be your mother," I said. "But I won't protect someone from consequences that aren't mine." A week later, she rented a small studio apartment. A few months later, she filed for divorce. 30 days after that notice was delivered, I walked back into my house. The air smelled stale from closed windows. The living room looked bigger, without Tyler's furniture. I opened every window and let the breeze move through the rooms. Then I cleaned, not angrily, just steadily. My chair went back beside the window where it had always been. That evening I made tea, picked up the remote, and turned on the news. The volume was exactly where I liked it. No one reached over to change it. No one told me to leave. And that's when I finally understood something important. Love without boundaries becomes exploitation. Silence in the face of disrespect isn't peace, it's permission. And sometimes the most powerful word you can say to family is simply no. Because the moment I stopped shrinking inside my own house, I finally came home.